Over 90 E3 awards and nominations. Interesting. Hey, what's up, Snipe Viewer? I just recently beaten this game, Watch Dogs, and yeah, I just thought I'd give you guys my input about it. Now, just to let you guys know, this is not my copy. I did not go out and purchase this or anything like that. Somebody had let me borrow it because she wanted to know, we were talking about video game, and she was like, oh, have you ever played Watch Dogs? And I said no. And she was like, oh, well, I have a copy, you want to borrow it? And I said no. And as you can see, she still pretty much made me borrow it because she wanted to know what my input, my thought, and I figured I'd share it. Now, before I start, I just want to, refresh, because I remember there was a huge hype about this game. And the hype was about the fact that there was a feature where you can pretty much hack anything or everything, like your surrounding, and you play this open world city. And I just remember, I remember seeing trailers, I remember reading the whole big talks about it. Like I said, there was a huge hype before the game dropped. Now, at the time, even though currently I have backlogs and I was busy focusing on the games I already own, trying to beat. So, with that being said, I never picked up the copy day one. Matter of fact, I never picked it up the first year it dropped. However, I've seen some reviews and there were some negative feedbacks about this game, which is why I'm kind of surprised about the whole over 90 E3 awards and nomination. I mean, I didn't really watch E3 that year, so maybe it's true, maybe it's false, I don't know. All I know is that I remember there was a huge, after the game dropped, huge backlash of negativity, and I was like, okay, looks like I'll keep playing the games I have. And, years later to now, like I said, I have not touched Watch Dogs. I haven't even touched the sequel. I had too many games for, the most recent game I did pick up were Persona 5. That had more impact and interest in me than Watch Dogs. But, anyway, again, like I said, me and this co-worker of mine, we were talking about video games. She wanted me to see what I think about it. So, here it is. Watch Dogs, PlayStation 4. It's alright. It's somewhere in the middle. It's not like anything like, oh my god, if you're used to Grand Theft Auto type open world, then that's pretty much what this is. As for its featured, now again, like I mentioned, there was a lot of people that gave it a huge backlash, and I think the reason for it, now that I have played it, well, the exact reason is you don't really do much in terms of hacking. You don't really, yeah, you can manipulate the street light, you can make steam pipe explode, you can activate these military's grenades and stuff like that. But you open gates and all that stuff, it doesn't really make me feel like, oh wow, I'm really doing things. It's like I said, it's more like and I don't want to sound cliche, like there are other people that said this, but more like a Grand Theft Auto type game. Only difference is you're a guy that's named Aiden Pierce. You go around with a cell phone, and your cell phone is literally your weapon. You do acquire other weapons throughout the game. You do acquire like guns, IEDs, frag grenades. You can unlock abilities where you can cause blackout. But from my experience playing with the game, I barely used the whole concept of his artillery. The only thing I mostly used was his cell phone, that one sniper rifle, and a grenade launcher. Well, it's not, yeah, kind of like a grenade launcher. And every now and then I'll use an IED or a grenade here and there. Other than that, I did not use any of these other features, because to me the game didn't really give me that. It didn't put me in that situation where I feel like, oh, I need to use this. It was to me it was like, okay, I can easily get out of this by doing this, doing that, doing that. It's like it makes you strategize, yeah, and it does put you in situations where you have to outthink or outsmart the AI, but other than that, it's nothing drastic. Now, one of the flaws about this game is it's very repetitive, and the campaign, pretty much the story mode of this game, is extremely short. So what I did when I first started playing this game, before I even played it, I actually looked in, well, I didn't watch any, let's plays or any game walk or walkthrough. The first thing I did was watch reviews, and I saw that a lot of people said that the campaign is really short. And so with that knowledge, I was like, you know what, I'll just play the side mission first. I played the introduction of this game, but I didn't touch the campaign mode until I got the majority of the starter up side missions done. And some of the side missions can be a little agitating, like when you die or if you screw up, the game is forgiving by letting you start over from where you start off. And help you like re-strategize your plan of attack. But other than that, I recommend, and as you can see right here, advertised, PS4 exclusive edition includes 60 minutes of exclusive gameplay. Pretty much what that is the online play. Or there are some missions in there that they threw in for the PS4 edition to help make the game more bigger and more longer. And that's where I feel that because it has such a short campaign, they put in a lot of different side quests and a lot of option side quests that you can do to complete it. Side quests like, trying to find out who. Now this side quest I was actually more intrigued and more invested in. And that side quest was where you had to investigate who's doing all the killing. There was like a murder spree going on, and I was actually more interested in that because you try to figure out who this killer is. It gives you clues, explanation. That one I was more interested in, and plus the different location where you can find them. Granted, in the game, all you gotta do is go to the map, and it will show different icons of like, okay, here's where the investigation sequence is or whatever. So I was more interested in that. There are other side quests to complete. Side quests like trying to find the weapon crates. There were side quests where you try to stop crime robberies, which can be annoying because there's like a crime detection rate always high when you're walking, driving, whatever. It's just the crime rate is always going to be popped up and seen. Now, if you complete any of the crime rate, what that does is boost up your vigilante status. And it's kind of like Assassin's Creed, where if you do things like if you do like positive things, well, yeah, kind of like Assassin's Creed and Infamous. Actually, if you do a lot of good deeds, or you try not to kill a lot of innocent people and stuff like that, your status goes up, and you're in the positive, which means the news people don't talk about you as much. Police officers don't chase you down as much. Like, you can literally sit in your car, and a cop car will drive past you and won't do anything. But it's like a give or take, type situation. You can also hide in your car. You can walk in the streets and people won't report you. Like, oh my God, it's the vigilante, and like call 911. Your spot rate won't be as high. Whereas if you do all the negative aspect, it's like the crowd turns against you. Well, I'm thinking of Infamous. If it's more negative, the people, when they spot you, they call the cops. Or when the cop sees you, they go after you like right on the spot. So, and plus, from my understanding, how your vigilante rate is, it also, supposedly this game had multiple endings. I don't care. I didn't really, the only thing I did do was, well, I'll wait till that for later. But pretty much, there are different side quests. There's even a drinking game that's considered a side quest. There's poker. If you're not good at poker, I would recommend you not try it, but the thing is, it will when you do all these side quests, obviously they unlock special features. Like they'll unlock vehicles, they'll unlock weapons. But again, like I already mentioned, I didn't really utilize all that stuff. Even though I unlocked all those things, I really didn't need them. The only thing I will recommend if you do play this game is stick with motorcycles. Because believe it or not, the motorcycle in this game is a godsend. If you drive cars, say you are being chased and whatnot, you have more of a higher risk of not completing a mission than if you were to ride a motorcycle. They will chase you, they will try to knock you off and stuff, and there are obstacles that's going to make you, deter you from your goal, yes. But the motorcycle make it more easy because you can actually lane split in this game. You have more control of dodging and, doing everything else, going alleyways and all that other stuff than the actual car, because the car mechanic, the driving mechanic, is meh at best. Depends on what type of vehicle you pick up. Now, the whole campaign, the story mode about Watch Dogs is, like I said, you play as Aiden Pearce. He's on a revenge quest for the loss of his niece. He was, being an uncle, spending time with his nephew and niece, and he was taking them somewhere, I guess, fishing or something, and then all of a sudden, these group of guys drove up. One was on a motorcycle, shot a tire of his car, which caused him to swerve, tip over and everything, and it ended up causing the death of his niece. Then he finds out that there was more to that than anything else, and he knew automatically somebody was going after him, and pretty much, like I said, he went on a revenge trip to go after the people that caused the death of his niece. And pretty much that's it. He has like a gruff voice, like as if he's trying to talk like Batman. And one of the continuity errors that I noticed in this game is there's a feature where, there's a shop where you can actually buy different clothing for him. But they're not actually different. It's the same clothes but different colors. So when the newscast people, or when you control the camera, it blurs you out. You can't see yourself. But whenever the newscast report people, the newscasters or people on the street sees you and they recognize you because of your clothing. And when you visit your sister and your nephew, they like, oh my God, this vigilante is terrible. Or, not really terrible, but it's like, wow, he's crazy. Yet, you're wearing the same clothes that the vigilante wears, It's like it doesn't pick up. So there's a continuity error where it's like, even if you were to change your clothes, which is, like I said, just different coloration, people will still recognize you. So it defeats that purpose majorly. And, but whatever. Anyway, again, he's on a revenge quest, which involves mobsters and an old partner and everything else. It's like a lot of spider webs of pretty much. It's cliche. It's like you can pretty much predict everything that's going to happen. I will admit, the character Jordy is fucking hilarious. I like that guy. Sorry for the language. But he is funny. I like that character a lot. And I sort of wish, in a way, I would play more like him, like if he was the main character. But I understand why they chose Aiden, because Jordy is more of a hitman. He's more of a killer. But Aiden is more, like, this game was pretty much made evolving around Aiden. His special ability is hacking. And again, like I said, even the actual hacking mini game mechanic, it's, after a while, it becomes cliche. Like I said, one of the major flaws of this game is everything is very repetitive. You do things over and over and over and over to the point where it's like you just don't. I don't want to say you don't care. It's just like once you complete it, you don't feel like, yes, I did it. You like, okay, like you just gone through the bucket list, like check, done, check, done. It's not nothing major. The ending of the game, like I said, from what I've heard, there's like a different ending to this game. I got the one where I pretty much managed to get to Maurice. And I chose not to kill Maurice because there was another search mini game where it involves Maurice dropping like different cell phone hints and clues, which, you know, part of the audio log. But I just was like, you know what, whatever. So that's how I took it as. I just, you know, left. Now, I will admit, I did look online to see if you were to take out Maurice, and you're better off walking away, because if you kill him, you don't, because apparently if you walk away, you get like an extra dialogue, an extra, you know, video timing of Aiden Pearce. Whereas if you do take out Maurice, the game just goes right back to the credits. There's nothing there to be shared. There's no extra dialogues or anything. So, overall, Watch Dogs. It's definitely a game you can pass. It's not anything major. Is it anything that's going to be a game changer in the video game market? Well, since we are in the year 2017, I feel like it didn't do anything. It's just a generic game. Do I have a bonding with the main character? To me, I don't look at Aiden like, oh wow, he's a badass, or oh wow, he's great, or wow, this is a great character model. To me, he was like, it could be any other guy, you know what I mean? Just a regular, generic guy who just have a quest for revenge, and that's what makes this game don't feel like it has that punch that it needs. It doesn't really utilize the hype of you can hack everything, you only can hack certain things, but even that doesn't feel like a major accomplishment. So, again, I say pass. It's not really, you know, worth you going out right away to grab and buy. Now, if you already played this game or you already own it, you know what I'm talking about. It's like, you probably even forgot yourself, like, oh wow, I still got this game. Why? You know, it's like I said, I didn't have an interest in borrowing it because I remember about the hype and the negative backlash. But for me, it was like, now that I played it, now that I beat it, now that I know what this game is by my own experience, once I've beaten it, you know, and I'm not saying it because I'm borrowing this game and giving it back, but even if I were to have this in my collection, which I'm glad I don't, it's one of those games where it's like you really don't have replay